What if your kindness is actually driving people away? You go out of your way to be good to others, but somehow, instead of gaining their respect, you end up feeling disrespected or taken for granted. In today's video, we're going to uncover why this happens and explore how kindness can sometimes backfire in ways you least expect. Stick around, because the truth might surprise you. Kindness is often seen as a virtue, a way to create connections, spread love, and make the world a better place. When we're kind, we expect that others will appreciate it, that it will build relationships, and that it will encourage positivity. After all, kindness is something we're taught from a young age, right? Treat others how you want to be treated. Yet, despite all the good intentions, there are times when our kindness can be met with the opposite of what we expect. Instead of receiving gratitude or respect, we may encounter disrespect, indifference, or even manipulation. It's an unsettling thought. You give your time, your energy, and your care to others with nothing but the best intentions. Yet something doesn't feel right. Why does this happen? Why, after all the effort to show love and care, do some people seem to disrespect or take advantage of your kindness? In this video, we're going to explore how and why this occurs. We'll take a deep dive into human nature, our expectations of kindness, and how we can sometimes unknowingly invite disrespect by misunderstanding what true kindness looks like. If you've ever felt like your kindness has been misused or undervalued, you're not alone, and understanding why it happens can help you make sense of it and approach relationships with a new perspective. Let's begin by understanding the power of kindness and how it plays into the way we connect with others. Kindness, at its core, is a powerful force. It can open doors, heal wounds, and create bonds between people. When we show kindness to others, it has the potential to brighten their day and make them feel valued. It builds trust, strengthens relationships, and fosters a sense of connection. We often see kindness as a pathway to goodwill, a way to ensure that people respect and appreciate us for our generosity. But here's where things start to get complicated. Kindness doesn't always work the way we expect it to. Sometimes our good intentions can be misinterpreted or taken for granted. People may not always respond with the appreciation we think they should, and they may not always treat us with the respect we believe our kindness deserves. This discrepancy between expectation and reality can leave us feeling confused and hurt. The challenge is that while kindness is generally seen as a virtue, not everyone is equipped to receive it in the way we intend. Some people might feel threatened by kindness, especially if they see it as a form of weakness or an opportunity to manipulate. Others may simply not know how to reciprocate, especially if they've been conditioned to expect something in return for every action. And then there's the group of people who mistake kindness for a lack of boundaries, assuming that being kind means we'll let them take advantage of us. This mismatch between our kindness and others' reactions is part of the reason why being kind can sometimes lead to disrespect. It's not always the act of kindness itself that's the problem, but how it's received and how we set the stage for it to be received. To truly understand why kindness sometimes backfires, we need to look deeper at the psychological and social dynamics at play and the role our own expectations and boundaries have in how our kindness is perceived. Human nature plays a significant role in how kindness is received. It's easy to assume that when we are kind, others will see it as an act of goodwill and respond with gratitude or appreciation. However, people's perceptions of kindness can vary greatly depending on their own experiences, insecurities, and psychological makeup. For some, kindness is seen as a sign of vulnerability, and vulnerability can often be perceived as a weakness. When we show kindness, we are opening ourselves up to others. We are offering something personal, our time, our energy, our care. And for some people, This openness can feel uncomfortable. It might make them feel exposed, as if you're giving them the power to influence or control you. In such cases, kindness can be met with resistance or even disdain. Instead of being received as a positive gesture, it becomes something that makes them feel uneasy or guarded. They may view your kindness as an attempt to manipulate, control, or make them indebted to you, even if that was never your intention. Furthermore, some people may feel threatened by kindness because it challenges their own sense of self-worth or challenges the status quo. If someone is used to being in a position of power or control, your kindness might seem like a challenge to that authority. They may interpret your actions as a sign that you're trying to disrupt their sense of control, making them respond with disrespect or defensive behavior. Another layer of complexity comes from the fact that many of us, whether consciously or subconsciously, expect something in return for our kindness. While this isn't always the case, when we offer kindness with expectations, whether it's a thank you, recognition, or reciprocity, it can create a dynamic where the recipient feels pressured. They may sense that the kindness is conditional and not genuine, which can lead to feelings of obligation rather than gratitude. This misinterpretation of your good intentions can cause a rift and create the very disrespect you hope to avoid. Understanding that kindness can trigger these reactions in others helps us approach relationships with more awareness. It's important to realize that how people perceive kindness is shaped by their past experiences, insecurities, and emotional state. By being aware of these dynamics, we can better navigate how we show kindness and what we expect in return. One of the key reasons why kindness can sometimes be met with disrespect is because it can easily be mistaken for people-pleasing. While kindness comes from a place of genuine care, people-pleasing is often driven by a need for validation, approval, or fear of rejection. When someone is constantly trying to please others by going out of their way to be nice, it can create an imbalance in the relationship. Instead of kindness being seen as a gift, it becomes a tool for seeking approval or avoiding conflict. The difference between kindness and people-pleasing lies in the intentions behind the actions. Kindness is offered freely and without expectation of anything in return. It's about caring for others and seeking to make their lives better without any ulterior motive. On the other hand, people-pleasing is often driven by the desire to be liked or to avoid confrontation. It's when you say yes to everything, even when it goes against your own needs or boundaries, simply to make others happy. When people perceive your kindness as a form of people-pleasing, they may begin to take advantage of you. They may start to expect your kindness without ever offering anything in return, assuming that you will always be there to serve their needs. This can lead to resentment and disrespect because the kindness you offer no longer feels authentic or voluntary. It feels like you're simply trying to buy their approval or affection. This dynamic can undermine the respect you receive because others may start to feel that your kindness is not based on genuine care, but on the need for their validation or approval. People-pleasing also tends to create a sense of imbalance in relationships. The person who is always giving and never asking for anything in return can become resentful, while the person receiving the kindness might feel uncomfortable or even suspicious of your intentions. They may begin to see your actions as manipulative, even if that's not your intention. The cycle of people-pleasing can lead to feelings of frustration and disrespect, both for you and for the person you're trying to please. To avoid falling into the trap of people-pleasing, it's important to set boundaries and offer kindness from a place of authenticity, not obligation. Kindness should be about genuine care, not about trying to earn approval or avoid conflict. When you show kindness without the expectation of reciprocation, and when you maintain your own sense of self-respect, others, are more likely to recognize and respect your actions. The fear of being taken advantage of is a powerful force that shapes how we react to kindness, both when giving it and receiving it. This fear can be a barrier to accepting kindness from others, and can sometimes even lead to disrespect when someone offers their kindness. When we are kind to someone, we open ourselves up emotionally and allow the possibility that the other person might take advantage of our generosity. This vulnerability, while it can be a source of connection, also creates a sense of risk. People, whether consciously or unconsciously, can become defensive when they sense this risk, fearing that they might be exploited or that they will owe something in return. This fear can manifest in different ways. A person may hesitate to accept kindness because they feel they must reciprocate, and the pressure to do so might feel overwhelming. Or they might worry that the kindness is a form of manipulation and that the giver is expecting something in return, whether it's gratitude, loyalty, or even a future favor. This mistrust can quickly turn into feelings of disrespect or resentment, both for the person offering kindness and for the person receiving it. Instead of seeing the gesture as a simple act of goodwill, it becomes something fraught with expectations, making it difficult to genuinely appreciate the kindness being offered. The fear of being taken advantage of can also lead to defensive behavior. Some people may push away kindness to maintain a sense of control, avoiding the vulnerability that comes with accepting help, love, or support. This fear often stems from past experiences where they've been taken advantage of or hurt by others. When someone is hurt or disappointed after accepting kindness, their response may be to build walls and dismiss future acts of kindness as manipulative or insincere, even when that's far from the intention. What we need to realize is that kindness, when offered with the right heart, doesn't carry any hidden agendas. It's an unconditional act, meant to build relationships and foster goodwill. However, if the recipient's past experiences or fears cause them to misinterpret this gesture, the result can be the opposite of what we intended. Rather than feeling grateful or touched, they may withdraw or act out of mistrust. The key to overcoming this is not to stop being kind, but to recognize that others may need time to feel safe accepting it. By understanding the impact of this fear and allowing space for others to process kindness without pressure, we can create a more open and respectful dynamic in our relationships. Sometimes, kindness can be misinterpreted as overstepping boundaries, especially when it is offered in situations where the other person feels their space, emotions, or autonomy are being encroached upon. This is particularly true when kindness is expressed in ways that seem too eager or too involved for the other person's comfort level. Instead of being seen as an act of goodwill, it may feel like an imposition, making the recipient uncomfortable and prompting them to pull away. When we offer kindness, especially in personal relationships, we need to be mindful of where the other person's boundaries are. Some people might appreciate a generous gesture, like offering to help with something, while others might see it as too much. They may not feel comfortable accepting help, especially if they are used to doing things on their own or prefer to manage their problems privately. In these cases, no matter how good our intentions are, our kindness can unintentionally create feelings of discomfort or disrespect because the person feels their autonomy is being challenged. Overstepping boundaries can happen in subtle ways. For instance, if someone is going through a tough time and you keep offering advice or pushing them to talk about their feelings when they're not ready, it can be seen as an invasion of their emotional space. They may feel like their emotional process is being rushed, or that you're trying to fix their problems without fully understanding their needs. Instead of fostering closeness, This can create distance and lead to feelings of being disrespected. Respecting boundaries is crucial to ensuring that kindness is received in the spirit it's intended. It's not just about giving. Sometimes it's about knowing when to give and when to step back. When we respect the boundaries of others, we create a safe space for kindness to flourish. But when those boundaries are ignored, kindness can feel less like an act of love and more like an imposition. It's important to remember that genuine kindness isn't about doing what we think is best for someone, but about understanding their needs and offering support in a way that honors their comfort zone. Kindness in relationships, especially romantic or close personal relationships, can sometimes lead to friction or miscommunication. When one person in a relationship is constantly offering kindness, it can create a sense of imbalance. This dynamic can cause the person receiving the kindness to take it for granted, or they may even begin to feel overwhelmed by the other person's generosity. Instead of deepening the bond, the kindness can be viewed as an expectation or obligation, leading to feelings of resentment or disrespect. In relationships where one person is always giving, whether it's time, affection, or support, it can feel like the other person is not putting in equal effort. This imbalance can create a sense of entitlement in the person receiving the kindness. They may begin to expect it, no longer appreciating the gestures as special or meaningful. They may even take advantage of the situation, knowing that their partner or friend will always be there to provide support, regardless of the circumstances. This can erode respect, as the kindness becomes less of a gift and more of an automatic expectation. Additionally, when kindness is constantly given without clear communication or boundaries, it can be seen as a lack of self-respect or self-care. The person offering kindness may neglect their own needs in the process, focusing so much on the other person that they forget to take care of themselves. This can lead to feelings of burnout and resentment on both sides. The person who is constantly giving may begin to feel unappreciated, while the person receiving the kindness may start to feel guilty or uncomfortable, knowing they aren't contributing equally to the relationship. In healthy relationships, kindness should be reciprocal. It's important for both parties to give and receive in a way that feels balanced and mutual. If one person is always kind while the other takes, it can eventually lead to feelings of imbalance, frustration, and disrespect. To maintain a strong, respectful connection, both individuals need to recognize and respect each other's emotional needs, setting healthy boundaries and ensuring that kindness is given and received in a way that nurtures both people. Expectations play a huge role in how kindness is perceived and received. When we offer kindness, it's easy to expect something in return, whether it's gratitude, acknowledgement, or even just the sense that our efforts are appreciated. However, when kindness is given with these expectations, it can set us up for disappointment and ultimately lead to feelings of disrespect. When people don't meet our expectations, even unintentionally, it can cause us to feel unappreciated, and the kindness we offered can feel like it was in vain. This is where the problem begins. Kindness, at its core, should be unconditional. But when we begin to expect something in return, whether it's a thank you or a reciprocation, kindness can feel transactional rather than genuine. It becomes less about making someone else feel loved or cared for, and more about fulfilling our own emotional needs. This shift can change the dynamics of a relationship, turning what should be an act of generosity into an unspoken transaction. And often, this doesn't lead to the respect or appreciation we hope for. For example, if you've done something kind for someone and they don't acknowledge it in the way you expect, it can lead to frustration and a sense of disrespect. You might feel hurt or upset, thinking that your efforts went unnoticed. But the truth is, The other person may not have been aware of your expectations, or may not have been in a place to express their gratitude in the way you wanted. This gap in understanding can create tension, where your kindness starts to feel like a burden rather than a gift. It's important to remember that kindness should not be contingent upon how the other person responds. When we give with expectations, we risk undermining the very purpose of our kindness. It's essential to approach acts of kindness without attaching conditions or outcomes to them. When we let go of expectations, kindness becomes a pure expression of love and generosity. And while it may not always be recognized in the way we hope, it creates a space for respect to grow naturally. Respect for ourselves, for the other person, and for the kindness we've shared. The relationship between kindness and power dynamics is often overlooked, but it plays a significant role in how kindness is received and how it affects respect in any given situation. When kindness is offered by someone in a position of power, whether it's in a workplace, a family dynamic, or a social setting, it can create an imbalance. The person offering kindness might be perceived as trying to assert control, influence, or manipulate, even if their intentions are pure and driven by compassion. This can lead to the receiver feeling suspicious or disrespected, as they might view the act of kindness as a tool to gain leverage. In power dynamics, whether real or perceived, kindness can be seen through the lens of self-interest. If someone in a position of authority shows kindness, the recipient might interpret it as an attempt to create a sense of obligation. For example, a manager who offers personal support or extends a generous gesture may inadvertently create the expectation that the recipient must return the favor in some way. This can make the person on the receiving end feel uncomfortable, as if they are being manipulated rather than genuinely supported. In such cases, kindness can be seen as a means to exert influence, which can lead to feelings of disrespect or resentment. On the other hand, in relationships where both individuals are equal in status or power, kindness is more likely to be received as genuine and appreciated. The absence of power imbalances allows for kindness to be perceived as an authentic offering, not as a strategic move. This is why it's crucial to be aware of the context in which kindness is offered, and to recognize how power dynamics can shape the way kindness is interpreted. If kindness is perceived as an act designed to influence or control, it can erode trust and respect, even if the intention was to offer something positive. For kindness to be respected in these situations, it needs to be offered with awareness and sensitivity to the power dynamics at play. The person offering kindness must be mindful of how their actions may be perceived and ensure that it's received as an expression of care, not as a tool for manipulation. This balance is key to ensuring that kindness fosters respect, rather than leading to feelings of discomfort or disrespect. Self-worth plays a crucial role in how kindness is received, both when we offer it and when we receive it. When someone feels unworthy or insecure about themselves, they may struggle to accept kindness from others. This is often because they don't believe they deserve it. For example, if someone has low self-esteem, they may view a kind gesture as pity or as an attempt to point out their shortcomings. Instead of feeling loved or appreciated, they may feel as though they're being condescended to, which can lead them to reject the kindness or respond with disrespect. When people feel unworthy, they may interpret kindness as an unwanted obligation. If they don't feel deserving, kindness can create a sense of discomfort. They might worry that accepting kindness means they owe something in return, and this anxiety can breed resentment. The act of kindness, instead of being a source of comfort, can feel like a weight. This dynamic can leave the person offering kindness feeling disrespected because their gesture, no matter how sincere, is not being received in the spirit it was intended. Additionally, someone who struggles with their own self-worth may feel threatened by kindness. If they're used to being independent or self-sufficient, receiving kindness can be seen as a form of vulnerability that they're not ready to accept. They may feel that by accepting kindness, they are admitting weakness, or they may fear that they will become dependent on others, which goes against their desire for self-reliance. This can create a barrier where kindness is not only rejected, but also met with resistance or dismissal. On the other hand, when someone has a strong sense of self-worth, they are more likely to accept kindness with gratitude and appreciation. They understand that kindness is a gift and that they deserve to receive love and support. In these cases, kindness fosters connection and respect, creating a positive cycle of giving and receiving. Therefore, the way people perceive themselves has a significant impact on how they respond to kindness, whether from others or from themselves. If we want to cultivate respect in our relationships, it's important to not only offer kindness, but also to help others feel worthy of it. When we show kindness to others, it can sometimes feel like we are giving a piece of ourselves, our time, our energy, our care. And while kindness is an incredible virtue, it's important to understand that we also need to maintain self-respect when we offer it. Kindness should not come at the expense of our own well-being or boundaries. When we are constantly kind to others, without taking care of ourselves or recognizing our own limits, it can lead to burnout and frustration, which in turn can create feelings of disrespect in our relationships. One of the most challenging aspects of kindness is knowing when to stop. Being kind doesn't mean saying yes to everything, allowing others to take advantage of us, or neglecting our own needs. There's a fine line between being generous and overextending ourselves. When we give too much, we might begin to feel like our kindness is being taken for granted. The very people we've been kind to may begin to disrespect our time, effort, and energy, because they know we'll always say yes, always be there, always give. This can create a cycle where our kindness is no longer appreciated, but instead becomes expected. In these situations, we may start to feel resentment building up. We give and give, but receive little in return, and over time, the respect we once had for ourselves begins to erode. If we're not careful, this can lead to feelings of bitterness and frustration. The key is to recognize that kindness should be balanced with self-respect. We need to set boundaries and communicate those boundaries clearly. If we continue to offer kindness without honoring our own needs, we risk losing our sense of self-respect, which ultimately undermines the kindness we're trying to offer. When we practice kindness in a way that also honors our boundaries, it allows us to maintain our self-respect while still offering love and care to others. It's about understanding that kindness is a choice, and when we make that choice, we must also choose to take care of ourselves. By setting boundaries, we teach others how to respect our time and energy, which in turn leads to more genuine and mutually respectful relationships. Finding the balance between kindness and assertiveness is key to maintaining healthy, respectful relationships. Kindness, when given with a pure heart, should not be confused with weakness or passivity. In fact, to truly be kind, you must also be able to stand firm in your beliefs, values, and boundaries. Kindness shouldn't mean sacrificing your needs for the sake of others. It's about showing care and compassion while still protecting your own emotional and physical well-being. Assertiveness plays an important role here. It's the ability to express your thoughts, feelings, and needs in a respectful way, without feeling guilty or overly accommodating. Many people mistakenly believe that kindness means always saying yes, always being available to help, or always putting others before themselves. However, kindness is more than just being agreeable or compliant. It's about showing respect for both yourself and others, which includes knowing when to say no and when to prioritize your own needs. When you can balance kindness with assertiveness, you create a dynamic of mutual respect. You demonstrate that you care for others, but you also respect yourself enough to set limits. This is not about being harsh or unkind, but about being honest and clear about what you're able to give without draining yourself. For example, if someone asks for your time or energy and you're not in a position to help, it's okay to say no. By doing so, you're not disrespecting them. You're respecting your own needs and making sure that you don't overextend yourself. Setting boundaries with kindness is crucial because it helps prevent feelings of resentment. When we say yes to things we don't want to do or give more than we can handle, we start to feel taken advantage of. Over time, this can lead to bitterness, and the kindness we offer loses its purity. But when we balance kindness with assertiveness, we can offer help and support without compromising our own well-being. This balance strengthens relationships, fosters mutual respect, and allows both parties to feel valued without being overwhelmed. It's about honoring yourself while still showing love and support to others. In conclusion, kindness is undoubtedly one of the most powerful and beautiful qualities a person can possess. But it's important to recognize that kindness without boundaries, expectations, or self-respect can sometimes lead to disappointment and disrespect. Our kindness is a reflection of our hearts, but it must be given in ways that honor ourselves and the other person. When we offer kindness without understanding human nature, without recognizing our own limits, or without setting clear boundaries, we risk creating situations where our actions are misinterpreted, taken for granted, or even manipulated. It's essential to remember that kindness is not about pleasing others at the expense of our own needs. It's about offering compassion and love while maintaining self-respect and healthy boundaries. By being kind yet assertive, we can foster relationships where kindness is both given and received in a way that is genuine, respectful, and uplifting for both parties. When we recognize the potential for kindness to be misperceived, we can navigate our relationships with greater awareness. Understanding that not everyone will respond to kindness in the way we hope allows us to approach interactions with a sense of clarity and patience. It's about finding the right balance between showing care and standing firm in our own values, needs, and boundaries. True kindness builds mutual respect. It doesn't deplete us or put us in situations where we feel taken advantage of. In the end, kindness should be a source of connection, not frustration. When we learn to balance our kindness with assertiveness, we not only respect ourselves, but we also invite others to respect us in return. And in doing so, we create deeper, more meaningful relationships that are based on mutual understanding, compassion, and a shared sense of respect. If you've ever experienced moments where your kindness was misunderstood or disrespected, I'd love to hear your story in the comments below. Let's start a conversation about how we can balance kindness with self-respect and build healthier, more respectful relationships. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content on personal growth and meaningful connections. And check out the next video for more insights on strengthening your relationships.